I'm alone on an island, starting with $0, and the only thing I have is a fishing rod. Will I be able to reach my goal and earn $100 million? This is what the islands look like where I'll be spending the next few years trying to reach my goal. Time to begin the adventure. I'll take my fishing rod, cast it into the water, and hope I don't just pull out a bunch of junk. Let's keep our spirits up. Got the first bite. I have a feeling this is going to be a decent catch. That's just what I need to get started. A decent fish for 400 euros. Almost there. Just a little more and we've got it. I did it. What even is this? What did I just catch? Some kind of buoy? If this is a sign of how my plan is going to go, then it's bad. It's truly dire. I've got another bite, and while I reel it in, you can hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and drop a comment telling me whether you think I'll snag a fish this time, or just more rubbish. Haha, very funny. The same thing again? I've caught a buoy for the second time in a row. How many of these are in here? Should I pull any more rubbish from these waters for a third time? I'm turning off the recording, and I honestly wish to never again lay eyes on a fishing rod. I am absolutely sick and tired of it. Just kidding. Relax. It was a fish this time. 100 euros credited to the account. My first earnings. I'm casting my line again, because I definitely need more cash. A giant salmon. 400 euros. I think this is the biggest fish I can catch here, so that's perfect. No, I'm not letting it go this time. 400 euros for me, and the fish to the shop. Something new. Not salmon, but trout. 100 euros, but 100 euros is better than nothing. I'd take that over an old tire. Another 100 euro trout, and I've got 700 euros now. As soon as I saw I'd caught some kind of trophy, I got really excited, because I know there's always prize money for them, but unfortunately, I caught the one that gives you nothing. This is just one strange fish mounted on a board. If you're interested in playing on this map with the same mods I'm utilizing, then please feel free to visit my Patreon. And using the code you see on screen, the first 100 people will receive a discount. I reeled in a massive trout, which is valued at 400 euros. For now, I'm done with fishing and will be heading to the shop. It's time to do some shopping. Actually no, there's one more thing. In the description of this video, there's a special link that will give 5 people free access to my Patreon for a whole month. A small Christmas gift. I have 1,100 euros for shopping, so I'll begin with a 150 euro mower. Now I need to find myself a baler. I believe this baler will be absolutely perfect for my needs. Naturally, this is also a manual baler, one you're likely quite familiar with if you happen to watch my videos. In the video where I mowed the entire flat map, I also used this baler at the beginning. If you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it after this video. And I also need a trailer, so I don't have to carry these bales too far. I actually haven't ever used this specific trailer. It's only 200 euros, so it's not a major risk to take. I'll just sell it and get a different one. Everything I've bought is already at the shop. I've got a trailer, a baler, and a mower here, so let's get to mowing. I'll start mowing, of course, in the area right by the collection point. This is where I'll have to deliver the grass bales, so it'll be super close. I won't even need to use the trailer. Instead, I'll simply grab a bale, carry it directly to the shop, and then proceed to sell it. As you can see, I've marked out a very small area to mow for starters. But I want to start somewhere. I just want to begin, to get things moving. I want that money credited to the account, to feel like I'm actually earning money. The mowing is going splendidly, and I believe now is the perfect moment to divulge my strategy to you on how I'll earn that $100 million. How exactly will I achieve this? In theory, my plan is very simple. I'm going to invest in renewable energy sources. I'll transform the entire water-covered area into a vast wind farm and a solar panel power generation facility. Perhaps I'll add some greenhouses. We'll see. I'll endeavor to automate as much as I possibly can, but reaching that point will require a very long journey. It certainly won't be an easy endeavor. So, this is how the section I've just mowed looks right now. All that's left is for me to fire up the baler and get to making some grass bales. My initial field is incredibly small. Gathering all this grass won't even take me a couple of minutes. But unfortunately, it also means I won't earn an exceptionally large sum of money from this small section. I'll be able to cover some minor expenses with it, but it won't be anything miraculous. The most important thing is that I don't have to run around with a shovel. My goal is so gigantic anyway, I don't know if it's even achievable. Let me know in the comments what you think. Will I manage to reach that 100 million? Will I be able to hit that particular mark? I am fully convinced that I'll succeed, but I'm also really curious if you all believe in me. I'll be reading the comments. Collecting with this baler is so fast that this is indeed the final bale I've just extracted, and there won't be any more from this particular field. I must now mow additional grass. This is how much I managed to produce, 5 bales. I wonder how much I'll earn for this. Finally, I'll find out how much one of these bales is worth. 134 euros. That's what I received for a single bale. Fortunately, this challenge doesn't require me to make 20 million just by mowing grass. To achieve that, I'd have to sell around 200,000 of these blocks. I reckon it would be quite difficult to collect that much from these 4 small islands. What do you guys think? After selling all the bales, my account balance is 922 euros. That's certainly not a whole lot, so I'm activating turbo mode on my mower and will cut a larger section now. Once I've collected all the bales, I'll pave this area for the shop so my machines won't get lost in the grass. Like you can see with the trailer parked over there, you can barely see it, and that just won't do. The turbo mode is working so well that half the job is already behind me. Very soon I'll be able to create bales, and there will definitely be significantly more of them here compared to the previous section. I need to repark my red trailer now so it doesn't get in the way of my grass mowing. As you can see, I forgot to start the engine, a terrible mistake. That's honestly the very first thing one should do when acquiring a trailer, start up the engine. Turbo mode is still going strong. This time I even had an additional coffee to really speed things up. If you're still watching this, feel free to drop a comment saying, "That coffee's great." I'll understand exactly what you're getting at. And it's all done. The entire shop area has been beautifully mowed. I truly have quite a lot of grass to gather up here. There will definitely be several bales made from this, no doubt about it, but I believe I've certainly earned a bit of enjoyment and a gentle respite. I'm taking my fishing rod and heading out to retrieve a boot from the water. You heard me correctly, I stated it was purely for enjoyment. I hope the game heard that too, and now it'll be nothing but 400 euro fish. As you can readily observe, my approach was unsuccessful. The game remains unforgiving, continuously penalizing me with poor catches. This time around, I managed to reel in a truly splendid specimen, a bucket. Oh, I've received an award for gathering garbage, and humorously enough, I made more from it than all the fish I caught previously. I do believe I prefer this garbage. A new sign just joined my collection. Caution, wet floor. Now that's something I haven't had before. I wonder what I'll manage to catch this time. A tire, great. This fishing for fun is starting to be not so fun, so I'm casting my fishing rod one last time. Give me something good as a farewell gift, and then I'm off to make bales. I have to collect this grass. Enough of this fun. To be honest, I didn't expect that at all. 400 euros to finish off the fishing trip. I'm putting this rod away, because I feel like it's only going to get worse from here. I've just finished up with some fishing, so now it's high time to get to making the remaining bales and gather all the grass that's still here on my hands. I have this weird feeling that the baler is getting squeakier. I think I'll have to consider getting a new one in the future. I'm so exhausted, I barely know what I'm saying. I've toiled so much out in this field that naturally, I'm absolutely going to require a brand new baler. But this baler, what exactly is it going to achieve here? Just make these tiny little pieces? Nah, this isn't the job for it. It's okay to begin with, but naturally, I'll have to upgrade it to something better. I certainly got many more bales from this section compared to the previous one, which is fantastic. This should yield some substantial earnings. But before I gather it all, I'm going to indulge in a quick, invigorating wash-up to completely rid myself of every last bit of grass lodged in my trousers, pockets, and even my socks. It's everywhere. Now I can get to collecting. Let's test out the trailer I bought. We'll see if it's actually useful for anything. I'm not really certain how exactly to arrange this here, and I genuinely have no clue if I'm able to secure it with straps. I have a distinct feeling, yes, a strong feeling, that this cart is going to cause some issues. Perhaps I should try laying it crosswise. Yeah, that's probably the only option. Okay, second bale. Will anything more than 2 fit in here? Oh, probably not. The trailer's already tipping. Oh dear. Alright, sadly, it is what it is. I'm selling this and returning the trailer, or rather, I'll just sell it. Maybe I won't lose that much. It cost 200 euros. I wonder how much I'll get back for it. 169 euros. That's how much I got back. Hey, I didn't lose that much at all. I'm using the proven equipment now. It's 100% reliable. I can load many bales on it, and I've never had issues with this trailer. That other one was an experiment. A failed experiment as it turned out. Loading the bales onto this trailer is going very smoothly, and I'm curious how many of you have made it to this point. Are you all still watching this? We're already in the 11th minute. Do let me know in the comments. And as always, please tell me what country you're tuning in from and if the dubbing sounds good. Is this even watchable? However, since you've stuck around until this moment, it must be pretty decent. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then drop a subscription so my channel can grow like this tower I'm currently stacking with these bales. I need to move the trailer a bit closer so I don't have to run so much, so I've fastened the straps because otherwise, this all would have fallen off a long time ago. Well now, this will require some extensive combining to get arranged, but I'll make it fit. I'll definitely make it fit. I hope it won't. Oh, it's all falling down now. I really don't know how many bales are here. You all can tally them up. I'm simply no longer able to count them. I'm just so exhausted by all of this, by loading all of this stuff. Look at that pyramid. Well, a pyramid. A tower. A leaning tower. If this entire setup doesn't collapse the moment I budge, we'll be in good shape. Seriously. Unfortunately, it turns out that things are not as great as I had initially hoped for. Okay, I have to pull this backward, because otherwise it all just tips over. There's no other way. Let's sell it. Truth time, how much money will I make? 1,748 euros. Perfectly, I have 4,408 euros in my account. As I mentioned earlier, it's now time to get the store area all tidied up. This area absolutely needs to be paved and leveled, not like previously, where I had to search for machines in the tall grass. It needs to be nice gravel here, or maybe some concrete, although I think I'll do it myself here. I think I'll go with gravel, the con. The concrete doesn't fit here, so let's make it gravel. Of course, I'll also reseed grass, so there won't be any empty spots, because unfortunately, the painting process removed it, and I also need a place where I can sleep. So I'll set up a tent. I'll put a tent up next to the shop. I've got 4,000 to invest. Now it's time to acquire a tractor, a mower, all the necessary equipment. I started with $0 on the islands. My goal is to make $100 million. In the previous episode, I started with just a fishing rod, which allowed me to reel in a few distinctive items, such as a bucket, a sign, and an old tire. And naturally, a few fish helped me earn enough money to acquire my initial mower and baler, allowing me to create bales, which I then gathered, sold, and ultimately accumulated 4,408 euros by the episode's conclusion. I have a very good plan for how to use the money I earned from selling the grass bales. I'm investing the entire amount in a manual tree planter and some seedlings. This way, in a short time, well, maybe not that short, since I'll have to wait for the trees to grow, I'll be making some very good money. After my shopping, I have 405 euros remaining, so now all that's left is to plant these 60 trees and then patiently wait for them to grow. I utilized the entire pallet of seedlings. 60 trees were planted in remarkably quick succession. This is how it looks now. I'll need to patiently wait a few months for these trees to mature before I can finally begin the logging process. Here it is, my new money generator. Many months have passed. Everything's grown, making it almost impassable. I planted these trees so densely. I'll soon find out how much money I'll make from selling a single tree. However, prior to selling anything, I'll need to locate a timber selling point. It costs 1000 euros. Unfortunately, I don't currently possess that amount, so I'll have to catch several fish and diligently earn that 1000 euros to acquire it. I must really apply myself to this task. The first fish I caught is worth 100 euros. I'm casting my line and waiting for the next one. And I've got another fish. This time it's 200 euros, so I'm absolutely sure I'll reel in some old boot or something similar. Exactly. I caught a buoy. For the next several minutes, I continued fishing. I managed to catch a few fish, and naturally, a ton of trash along with them, but also one very large fish that was worth 400 euros. In total, I have managed to accumulate 1,805 euros in my account. This sum will enable me to buy the wood collection point, level the surrounding ground, and perhaps even purchase an axe. However, if I don't, I'll simply cast my fishing rod again, reel in one more fish, and all will be well. After setting up the selling point, I had 129 euros left. Unfortunately, as you can see, leveling the ground drained my funds completely, so I must fish again. I truly hope to hook a fish immediately, rather than an old tire, a buoy, or some other piece of trash like a boot. What a pleasant surprise, I managed to catch a fish right away. It's the worst one, sure worth 100 euros, but it's better than nothing. No more waiting around, I just got myself an axe and I'm about to start cutting down that very first tree. For convenience and to maximize my earnings, I chopped this tree into smaller sections. I then transported everything to the collection point. Here's what the tree looks like, all piled up at the selling point. In just a moment, everything will be clear. We'll find out the value of one tree at my selling point. The moment of truth. I'm running to click sell. And how much money will hit my account? 7,481 euros. Now that's a sizable amount. And remember, I have 60 of these trees. I need money for an investment. So, I'm starting the wholesale tree felling. I'll begin with 5. This should be sufficient for me to acquire a basic tractor, a lawnmower, and to employ a worker. Just as I said, I did it. 5 trees are down. Now I just have to cut everything up and haul it to the selling point. If you also wish to play on this map and with the mods I'm currently using, please visit my Patreon page. Furthermore, with the code that's currently visible, the first 100 individuals will receive a special discount. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'm not sure what's holding you back. Do it right away so you don't miss any future videos on my channel. I've processed roughly half of the timber, brought it to the selling point, and now the moment has arrived to sell. This will fetch 19,284 euros. That's what I earned for the part I've already managed to cut. I'm getting back to cutting the rest, transporting it to the shop, and soon enough, you'll be able to make purchases. I have a small request for all of you. Please let me know in the comments if this editing style suits you, or if I'm perhaps shortening the actions I perform too much, and you would prefer a time lapse to see everything but simply at a more accelerated pace. Let me know. In the meantime, as you can see, I've managed to cut, gather, and transport all the wood to the shop. Now all that's left is to sell. Oh, and it looks like one log got away from me, but I've already earned 14,721 euros. And now for the missing one, 1,920 euros. Alright, so I managed to earn roughly 16,000 euros from those trees, and currently I have 43,458 euros deposited in my account. However, prior to spending any money, I decided to clear the stumps to avoid hitting them inadvertently, or having them impede my progress. And now I can calmly head over to the shop. This equipment provided me with a pretty good start on my island, but it's definitely time for an upgrade. Let's navigate to the tractor section. I've chosen to select my favorite 300 horsepower tractor. I spent 5,900 on it, and to go with it, this mower, which costs 4,100 euros. As usual, I'm buying everything here with cash, since I'm playing without leasing. My brand new tractor and mower are already at the shop, poised and prepared for me to recruit a worker. This will help me inch closer to my grand objective, $100 million and a renewable energy dominion across my islands. I have at my disposal this beautiful island that is full of grass. It's on this very island that my worker will get his first task. The great moment has arrived, the inaugural firing up of my tractor, and in just a moment I will employ my initial worker, who will precisely be mowing that previously mentioned island. I managed to get the tractor across that puddle that separates my islands. Now, I'm setting the worker loose on the pre-designated course and wishing him the best of luck. I'm really hoping to be pleased with his performance and dedication. The worker is performing exceptionally well, having just finished outlining the island. This presents an ideal opportunity to switch to a satisfying drone perspective, a comprehensive top-down view, allowing us to observe the complete island and admire the remarkable progress the worker is making so quickly, especially considering this footage is accelerated 20-fold. And shortly, I'll begin my initial investments in renewables. I intend to construct the very first wind power plant. We shall observe what the budget permits. Just a reminder, I have about 33,000 euros in my account and I need to invest it well. For a moment, I'm letting the worker continue mowing the grass, so I can browse the selection of wind power plants that are currently available for purchase in my shop. I decided to go with small wind power plants for 2,500 euros each. These generate 360 euros each month, which is quite impressive, exceeding a 10% monthly return on investment. I also had to allocate a portion of my funds to elevate the terrain, which then allowed me to start installing wind power plants. They simply weren't effective when submerged in water. Currently, I've managed to install 11 wind turbines. I've exhausted the entire budget I had allocated for this project. Now, I'll need to generate a bit more income, as merely 11 power plants hardly amounts to anything significant. I really need to generate $100 million, and as of now, my investment is projected to yield approximately $4,000 in passive income each month. During the time I was preoccupied with investing funds, my diligent worker excelled in their task and successfully completed the mowing of the specified area. My islands are experiencing substantial transformations. First, 60 trees emerged, followed by the installation of 11 wind turbines. They're springing up like mushrooms after rain. And this is just the beginning. My investments created a huge hole in the budget. There's nothing better than plugging that gap with wood, or more accurately, with the money I'll make from it. Once again, I cut down 5 trees. Now I have to cut it all into pieces, haul it to the selling point, and of course, sell it. This is the perfect remedy for the hole in my island's budget. All the timber has now arrived at the selling location. There's nothing left for me to do but sell it all and pocket a hefty payout. 32,867 euros. That's how much I managed to earn from that sale. Since the worker has finished his job in this area, I'll transport the tractor to the second island and hire him again there. The worker has already begun, and I am transitioning to my drone's perspective, as it offers the optimal vantage point for observing the work's advancement. I began cutting all the grass on all of the islands, but truthfully, I still haven't figured out what I want to do with it. Let me know in the comments what you would do with this grass. I will most likely make silage from it and simply sell it off. Another viable option would be to purchase some animals, specifically sheep. They do eat grass after all. But it's probably not the best idea for me to expand the farm that much here. That's not the ultimate goal of this episode. The main objective is $100 million, so I must prioritize swift investments and the development of renewable energy sources. Another very good source of income will undoubtedly come from processing wood, and as it happens, I have an abundance of timber readily available. Another island has been entirely covered with freshly mown grass. At this moment, I've essentially cut everything within my capability, so I'm heading to park the tractor and mower right beside my tent. I've made a very serious blunder. I neglected to clear out the tree stumps. I will rectify my error right away and then proceed to the store to invest my 30,000 euros, but on this occasion, not into wind power plants. I made a decision to diversify my revenue stream somewhat, and consequently, I invested in gas cylinder refilling stations. Each of these units costs 3,800 euros, yet yields a profit of 840 euros every single month. I've established 8 of these stations, so that's going to amount to roughly 7,000 euros each month. So, with my wind turbines included, that's already over 10,000 euros in passive profit each month. I started from $0 on the islands. All I had at the start was a fishing rod and a huge goal, to make $100 million. The beginning was tough. I fished out a lot of trash. Despite that, I earned my first money and invested it in a small mower, then a bigger one, and I planted trees. After they had grown enough, I began cutting them down, and the money I managed to earn was then invested into an offshore wind farm. Thanks to this investment, I'm already generating a nice passive income, allowing me to invest even more. And so, here we are, another day where I absolutely must earn a significant amount of money. I need money for investments, and I've only got 3,490 euros in my account. To kick things off, I'll be handling some tree cutting. I'm going to chop down a bunch of trees, as I'll need approximately 30,000 euros for my next round of investments. What kind of investments might you be wondering about, you ask? Well, I'd really like to get myself a baler and a rake, and naturally a wrapper as well, all so I can efficiently produce silage. I've already successfully felled the first 5 trees. Now I simply need to transport them to the shop, cut them down to size, and then sell them off. You can place your bets on how much money I'll make from these 5 trees. Please write in the comments below how much money you think I will be able to earn from these 5 trees. Though it won't be much of a surprise, since I've sold trees in batches of 5 before, so anyone who's been watching already knows. Time to get that axe swinging and chop these trees into smaller pieces, so I can make even more money when I sell them. And I encourage all of you to give that subscribe button under my video a good workout, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a thumbs up. And if you have the option to boost the video, please do so. It genuinely helps the video reach a wider audience and more people. All the wood is cut into smaller pieces, lying at the collection point and ready to be sold. So I'm clicking the sell button. Oh, it looks like not everything sold the first time. I've already made 21,700 euros, so I'm selling the rest, plus 5,447 euros. I managed to generate a pretty nice profit. Thanks to that, I can head to the shop and make the purchases I was planning earlier. First on the list is a class baler, priced at 12,500 euros, and the second piece of machinery I'll be acquiring will be an 8-meter wide rake. The total cost for it is 12,640 euros. The equipment I just purchased is already here at the shop, and this is what it looks like. But there's no time to just stare at it. Time to hook up the tractor and get to work. I've already finished mowing all the grass on the islands, so now all that's left for me to do is to form it into neat windrows and then gather everything up. I'll also have to fell quite a lot more trees, seeing as I regrettably don't possess sufficient funds for purchasing a wrapper, and I still need to secure capital for further investments in wind power plants. I'm engaging turbo mode, and before long, the entire island will be blanketed with neat rows of grass, ready for baling. If any of you would like to play on this map, or perhaps on any of my other maps, and of course with the mods I use, there are over 3,000 of them. The 25% discount is continuously active, so it's definitely worthwhile to take advantage of it. On Petronite, there's also the option to give someone a gift, so you could definitely surprise someone by arranging a 1-month subscription for them. For now, I'm done working on this island, so I'll transport the tractor to the second island. I'll assign a worker there to help create those windrows, and during that time, I'll begin the task of cutting down some trees. I've already got a route all mapped out for the worker. Now it's high time to activate him and have him get straight to work. My current account balance is 5,345 euros. It's not a whole lot, but as you can clearly see, there are still a great many trees left that need to be cut down. So, I'm grabbing my trusty axe and commencing the large-scale logging operations right now. This is the ideal moment to transition to a drone's perspective, allowing me to observe the progress of my employee meticulously creating the rows. As you can see, he's already made significant progress and is halfway done. So the moment when I can finally begin baling is rapidly approaching. I could technically be doing that already. I could buy another tractor to simultaneously make bales and create rows, but we haven't reached that stage just yet. The 7 trees I felled earlier are lying there, awaiting transport to the collection point, to be cut into smaller pieces and then sold. There's a significant amount of wood lying around here, I must admit. Also, I need to remember to remove those tree stumps left over from the logging operation later on. My island absolutely must be kept in order. Once again, I'll be using my trusty axe to chop this wood into smaller pieces, which will then allow me to earn a greater profit when I eventually sell it for more money. But this time, I'm not cutting the trees into 3 pieces, just in half. I wonder how that will affect the profit from the sale. I've just finished cutting the wood into smaller sections, and now it's time to sell everything and see exactly how much money I can earn from this endeavor. This is the moment of truth, and the grand total is 30,693 euros. Well, honestly, that's not a lot. I feel like previously I was earning a very similar amount for just 5 trees, even when they were cut into 3 distinct pieces. While I was busy earning money by cutting down trees, my worker completely finished making all the rows. Here's the island from a bird's eye perspective. All the rows are now completed. The worker did an absolutely fantastic job. Everything on the second island has also been meticulously raked, leaving no stray blades of grass anywhere to be seen. Now I need to get some bales made. I'm pulling the tractor out of the field, so it's time to unhitch the rake and hook up the baler. I'll begin baling on the island that the worker just finished raking, primarily because I have a pre-generated route for it. This means I won't have to handle it manually. The worker's efforts have already laid the groundwork for me. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as simple with the other island. I completely forgot to save the route of the worker who was making the rows there, which means I'm going to have to do everything manually myself now. I turned on the drone view to check in on my worker's progress in the field, and I can confidently say he's doing an absolutely outstanding job. This means I don't have to constantly monitor him or hover over his work, allowing me to smoothly transition to my next task, which, as you might guess, will be the timber harvesting. I have quite a bit of cutting to do, so I can use the extra time. Tree cutting, and I've still got a significant number of them remaining, a truly massive amount left to be cut down. Once they're gone, I'll need to plant new ones, but right now, I'm grabbing my trusty axe and heading out to chop them down. If you've managed to stick with the video up to this point, please, in the comments, write something along the lines of, "I really enjoy watching you fell trees. It's quite captivating to witness." Then I'll understand exactly what you're talking about, and I'll most likely give your comment a heart emoji. Another batch of trees has been cut down. I'm going to remove the tree stumps that were left after the felling, and only after that will I proceed with selling the timber. In my account, I currently possess 36,227 euros. However, that amount is steadily decreasing because the worker is diligently operating in the field. Although currently, he isn't actually working because he's gotten completely stuck on a bale of hay. I'll have to go unblock him shortly. However, that isn't really a priority for me at the moment. Right now, the absolute top priority is getting all these trees to the collection point, sawing them in half, and then selling them off as fast as humanly possible. We need to maximize our earnings and ensure we're not wasting a single second here, to really make some serious cash. Just a reminder, my goal is $100 million, and I don't even have 100,000 in my account. Even though my ultimate goal is still so far away, I'm completely unfazed. I just know I'll achieve it, and it will be sooner than you think. I have a clever plan, and now, let's sell the wood that I managed to cut. 36,186 euros just hit my account. I have 72,363 euros. Unfortunately, I now have to get my boots wet and dash over to my worker, who inconveniently managed to get a bale stuck in his path, preventing him from moving forward. Seriously, just go already. Where on earth do they find such useless employees? I genuinely don't know what it is. All they ever do is search for an excuse to remain idle and accomplish absolutely nothing. I'm going to launch the drone right now, and you can all observe how my worker is progressing with his tasks. I really hope he doesn't get stuck on another bale and actually finishes his assigned job. After all, I am paying him for this. Fortunately, the rest of the work proceeded without any further issues. The job was successfully completed, 100%. All that remains for me to do is to empty out the tank, release the very last bale, and transport the tractor over to my other island, where there's a substantial amount of grass eagerly awaiting collection. However, that particular task I'll have to manage manually. Therefore, my primary focus will be on felling the trees, and I'll endeavor to surpass 100,000 euros in my account. That's my immediate small goal, to exceed 100,000 euros, an amount I can then skillfully invest and subsequently multiply for further gains. I've already cut down the vast majority of the trees on my island, and there were 60 of them to begin with. I'll definitely need to plant more trees very soon because this is an exceptionally effective and efficient way to secure a rapid influx of cash whenever I find myself in need of funds for various investment opportunities. Just take a look at this. Yeah, there's truly not much left. Once again, I'll transport all the wood to the collection point, cut it into smaller pieces and sell it. My aspiration is to significantly exceed 100,000 in my account. That will be my first 100,000. Of course, 100,000 is still a far cry from 100 million, but it's important to keep a positive outlook. It just occurred to me, why on earth am I still using this old axe? I mean, seriously, what am I thinking? Why didn't I just buy myself a chainsaw in the first place? But if my axe wielding skills are so exceptional that they can rival a chainsaw, then there's really no good reason for me to switch to a different one. As I mentioned, everything is quickly chopped up and I'm selling it off now. 38,488 euros plus another 1,428 euros, totaling nearly 40,000 euros, have just been credited to my account, bringing my balance to 112,123 euros. I've tidied up the area, completely clearing out all the tree stumps from the logging operations, so now the only task remaining is to harvest the grass on this island. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to set up an automated route for a worker here, which means I'll personally have to drive through each and every road to meticulously gather everything myself. To make this more fun for you to watch, I'm hitting turbo mode, and in a moment the whole field will be covered in grass bales. Half the work is already behind me, so now it'll be smooth sailing. Just a moment of driving the tractor around, and the entire field has been completely baled up and is ready to go. Just look at how much there is here. This is how my islands are currently presenting themselves. There are a ton of bales lying on them that will now need to be wrapped in foil, and then we wait for the silage to be ready, right? I'm currently clearing the equipment from the field, and then I need to make a quick trip to the store for some supplies. I don't have a wrapper, and frankly, without it, silage making just won't be possible. There's a wrapper available for 14,000. I won't even hesitate for a moment, I'm simply going to take that one. I really don't have many options here. Everything else is either way more expensive or simply subpar, and I'm looking for decent equipment at a fair price. I'm attaching the bale wrapper to the tractor right now, and then I'm getting right to work. I've just collected the first bale with the wrapper and everything is functioning perfectly. I could just hire a worker and they could neatly wrap everything up for me. When I look at all of this sped up, it truly looks so satisfying and pleasant. Regrettably, in real time, the process really did take quite some time. Fortunately for you, you won't have to watch all of that. Instead, you'll get to enjoy a much more pleasant, greatly sped up version of it. Alright, so here on this particular island, I've just got a small handful of bales remaining that need to be wrapped up. Once those are all taken care of and properly secured, I'll be able to seamlessly transition and make my way over to the second island to continue my work there, hopefully with the same efficiency and speed that I've been maintaining thus far. Like I told you earlier, it went really smoothly. Well, at least from your perspective. The entirety of island number 1 has been taken care of, and all the bales are now completely wrapped. Everything went exactly as planned. Now it is indeed time to transition to the second island. There will be a little less work here because the area is slightly smaller, but not significantly so. You could definitely say these are very similar islands. I'm going in with momentum onto the second island and getting to work right away. I really must hurry now, because my mind is already buzzing with the next investments I'm eager to pursue. However, before all that, I absolutely need to get all these bales wrapped up first. Well, I just finished wrapping the very last bale of grass. It's done. I'm heading now to return the equipment to its designated spot, and after that, I'll go directly to the store to acquire a trailer that I'll require for future use. In my opinion, this is the best choice. 20,000 euros for a trailer like this. It allows for automatic loading of bales, and not just bales. Truly, this trailer is designed for everything. Bales, pallets, whatever you can imagine. After purchasing the trailer, I have 77,992 euros remaining, so let's proceed with investing in renewable energy sources. This time, I'm going with slightly different wind turbines. They cost more, but their output is higher, leading to a much better return on investment. For 15,000 euros, they also generate 4,200 euros monthly, which amounts to approximately a 30% monthly return on investment. Given my rather restricted budget, I was only able to finance the construction of 5 such power plants. But that's really not a bad outcome. Not bad at all, because 5 of these specific wind turbines are capable of generating approximately 20,000 euros in pure profit each month. That's already quite a substantial amount. When I add up all my previous investments, I anticipate generating approximately 40, perhaps even 50,000 euros each month. Now that's a pretty nice amount. The snowball is really starting to gain momentum. And so, this is how everything stands at the moment. The wind farms are operating, and the gas cylinders are selling briskly. On my islands, there are dozens of wrapped bales waiting to ferment. Once they've fermented, I'll be able to sell them, and with that money, I'll be able to afford to buy even more wind farms, and perhaps even some solar panels, although they are a bit more expensive. As time goes on, more and more money is appearing in my account. The wrapped bales are currently fermenting, though the money in my account isn't increasing quite as rapidly as I had initially envisioned. It seems I've miscalculated a bit, or perhaps some unexpected taxes are significantly eating into my profits. Despite that, I managed to collect 110,000 euros of passive income. And there's a significant number of bales still waiting to be sold. I fully anticipate exceeding 200,000 euros once I've cleared out all the inventory currently stockpiled across my islands. But that day is approaching quite rapidly. I started with absolutely nothing on the islands. All I had at the very beginning was a fishing rod and one immense goal to make $100 million. I was fishing, pulling old tires and buckets out of the water, just to get things moving and not get stuck on this island. So far, I've managed to save up 111,814 euros in my account. To some that might be a fortune, but for me, it's just rocket fuel for what I'm about to launch. White gold is covering my 2 islands. Dozens of fermented silage bales are lying there. This is the result of my diligent efforts over the last few days. They're all prepared now, but as we know, bales just sitting in the field don't generate profit, so I'm gathering them to quickly free up cash for new investments. 27,000 euros. That's how much I got for this shipment. My account is at 138,000, yet it's just a warm-up. I've returned to the island and I'm loading another shipment. Every single second of delay sets back my plan, and I truly need to be efficient to the core. So, let's sell the next load, and 26,000 euros just hit my account. I loaded the 3 remaining bales from the island, transported them across the river, and sold them. 5,700 euros. That's what I got for those 3 bales. My account balance is currently at 170,000 euros. However, that's going to change very quickly, because I'm heading out with yet another shipment, and I'm selling it for a total of 26,000 euros. Just look at how rapidly my account balance is soaring. I'm collecting the very last bales remaining on the island now, so I can turn my white gold into cash without a moment's delay. Thanks to this sale, I've definitely surpassed 200,000 in my account, and I can confidently state that's a new personal best. However, in order to achieve my goal, I am going to need the appropriate equipment. I visited the store and chose to purchase a baler for 80,000 euros. This new machine will effectively substitute both my current wrapper and the previous baler, as it's capable of simultaneously forming bales and wrapping them in film to produce silage, all in one go. Through the sale of my old wrapper and baler, I successfully recovered a substantial 20,000 euros. Since we're doing a full cleanup, I might as well get rid of my starter kit too. It's for a symbolic amount, only $629 in total, but for me, it marks the closure of one chapter and the beginning of another, stepping up to a higher level. And to reach that next level, I really do need a brand new tractor, 34,500. That's how much it cost me, and to complete the set, I decided to purchase a brand new mower. And it was a 7-meter mower for 40,000 euros. I bought a new one, so this isn't needed, selling it for 3,126 euros. After all the buying and selling of unneeded equipment, I have 97,385 euros remaining in my account, and my brand new gear is now waiting at the shop, ready for pickup and its very first startup. So, to avoid wasting any time, I'm going to quickly hook up this mower and head straight over to the island. There, I'll hire a new worker, and we'll see just how well he manages with this brand new equipment. The working width of this mower is actually more than double that of the previous one. Because of that, I'm really looking forward to a significant boost in efficiency, and speaking of growth, I sincerely hope you've already hit that subscribe button for my channel. And if you'd like to play on this map, using the mods that I'm currently using, I truly encourage you to visit my Patreon page. You'll find everything there. Currently, there's a 25% off promotion. It's definitely worth checking out. Only a moment has passed, and the worker has already finished mowing the first island. There's more grass to mow on the next island, so I'm going there quickly. I'm going to hire a worker, observe him for a while to see how he performs, and then I'll move on to the next crucial task, which is raking the grass. I'm hooking the rake to my 300 HP beast, which you know well. I delegate the task to an employee, and I'll handle the logistics myself. Time is money, and I have millions to earn. Without my employees, it would have taken me a great deal longer to get to this point. Luckily in this challenge, I can use the help of workers. Here's how the work progress looks. Everything is going according to plan. The rows are taking shape and the grass is being mowed. Everything is perfectly in order. As for me, the time has come to fell the remaining trees that still stand on this island. Every single tree you see here for me represents living cash, so I'm going to grab my axe. You heard me correctly, I am still using manual tools, but just look at the incredible efficiency I'm achieving. When I consider the significant earnings I'll acquire from selling this timber, I don't feel any fatigue at all while swinging this axe. I'm felling tree after tree and I could certainly keep doing this endlessly. I successfully cut down every single tree growing on my island. While I was busy swinging my trusty axe, the workers were diligently mowing the grass and creating precise rows. The tasks are already nearing their full completion. I'm starting the express transport of the wood to the collection point. Quite a bit has piled up. I'll transport it and cut it into smaller pieces to maximize the profits from the sale. The moment of truth has finally arrived. This truly is my biggest single wood sale throughout this entire challenge. 60,000 plus 3,000, so that's a total of 63,000 euros earned from this entire shipment. All the grass on the island has been carefully raked into neat rows, allowing me to confidently dispatch a worker to create bales and swiftly wrap everything up at an express pace. I have to make rows on the second island, so I'm immediately hiring an additional worker to handle that task. There's really no time to delay. The grass has been mowed, so it's high time. I've mentioned it many times before, but I truly adore observing this fascinating bird's eye view, especially as everything advances at such a rapid pace. Alright, that's enough of this peeking around. I'm investing 150,000 into 10 windmills, each costing 15,000 euros. Each one generates 4,200 euros in profit per month, plus 4 small generators making 360 euros a month. Meanwhile, as I was pouring in more than 160,000 euros, the worker successfully finished baling. And on the second island where the rows are being made, the work is also nearing completion. In a moment, I'll be able to send a worker over there to start baling on that island too. However, before I dive into that, I absolutely need to meticulously clean up the shop island. I'm going to remove all the tree stumps that remained after the logging, ensuring the entire area is thoroughly cleared for any future developments or construction work. Well, no sooner said than done. All the stumps have been removed, and now I'm rushing to the tractor to transport the baler over to the other island. Of course, for this task, I will also employ a worker to ensure I utilize my time as effectively and efficiently as possible. Here's how the work is progressing from a bird's eye view. The grass raking has concluded and the bales are being produced at an exceptionally fast pace. Regrettably, one of the bales became lodged right in front of my worker, preventing him from continuing his work. That's why I swam all the way over there, to move that bale out of the way to get rid of that problem, so the worker could continue with his work without any further interruptions. I'm 5,000 short. I have 0 in my account. The worker quit and now I have to finish these last 2 passes by hand. The work is now complete, meaning I can store the equipment back in the yard. So it's time for a quick rundown on how things are progressing across all of my islands. A few dozen bales were produced here. Every single tree has been chopped down. I've already invested approximately 200,000 into renewable energy, more precisely in wind power plants. Now, all I have to do is watch the money roll into my account as the months go by. I successfully generated a rather substantial passive income of 178,611 euros. However, I'm certainly not going to stop at that point. I have a substantial amount of bales on the islands that need selling, so I'm getting right to that. Getting right to it. One shipment, 26,748 euros. I've already accumulated 205,000 in my account. I'm loading up another shipment and heading out again to exchange it for another 26,000 euros. On the first island, I've still got 4 bales left to collect. I'm gonna load all of them up, sell them, and then I'll immediately move on to collecting from the second island. I received a total of 7,642 euros for those final 4 bales, which were remaining from the first island, and now I am already in the process of loading the subsequent shipment on the second island. Once again, over 26,000 has hit my account. I now have a total of 266,515 euros. But not for long, because I'm already on my way with another shipment. And again, 26,755 euros just hit my account. And that's not all, so I'll definitely pass 300,000 by selling these bales. I'm selling the last shipment of silage, plus 24,853 euros. In total, I have 318,125 euros in my account, so like I said, I passed 300,000 and by a lot. There isn't a single lonely bale left on the islands anymore. Everything has been gathered up. I really had to pause for a moment and figure out what I wanted to do next, what I wanted to spend this 300,000 on, and I finally decided to invest it all into a greenhouse. This greenhouse will form the very foundation of my burgeoning empire. I plan to produce a substantial amount of lettuce and then sell it to generate the largest profits imaginable. With those funds, I will subsequently construct additional wind farms. Of course, I also went ahead and added a few more wind farms now, since I had some leftover funds after investing in the greenhouse. It might not look all that pretty right now, but we'll deal with that later. For the time being, I'm starting all the production lines so that lettuce gets produced, I can earn some money, and then we'll just fast forward time a bit. The months are truly flying by. The account balance is definitely flying too. It's skyrocketing into the cosmos. And as I said, this is just the beginning. After only a few months of my productions and generators running, I successfully managed to generate 505,898 euros. However, reaching 100 million is still quite a distant goal. I utilized the 500,000 euros I had accumulated to fully equip the entire island with generators. This is how it looks. It looks interesting. We'll see if the profits from it are just as interesting. I hope so. Time flies, months pass. The balance is growing tremendously, so we can already say that the profits are quite interesting as well. The profits are interesting and this whole thing looks great. 1,117,333 euros. That's the current state of my account balance, which has enabled me to construct an enormous quantity of greenhouses across the entire island. I actually ran out of space entirely. Nothing more will fit in here. I know it doesn't look particularly beautiful, quite tragic actually, but I'll focus on the aesthetic aspect later. I promise you. More months go by, and my account balance is growing even faster than it was before. Each subsequent investment assists me in achieving even greater profits in increasingly shorter periods. 1,048,518 euros. I decided to invest those funds into 11 solar panels, with each one costing 93,000 euros, and generating 9,000 euros every month, along with a 15,000 euro wind farm. Several more months flew by, and my account once again received over €1 million deposited into it. And so, I made the decision to invest it this time around into wind farms, not specifically different ones that I haven't utilized previously. Much more expensive, 155,000 for a single wind farm. I also needed to build up the land a little bit to facilitate the construction of these power plants. This wasn't a very big expense, so I decided to set up 4 of these. Additionally, there were 6 smaller power generators, each costing 45,000, and collectively they generate 4,800 every month. And as if all of that weren't enough, I also managed to find this rather small generator, costing 24,000 euros, which is now generating over 6,000 euros in monthly profit. Apparently, that's how everything looks from a bird's eye view. There are more and more buildings. We'll see if the profits grow just as much. Several months had elapsed, and my account balance surged by more than 1.5 million euros, which was quite remarkable. That's a pretty nice sum. I decided to invest it in a biogas plant. However, to achieve that, I first needed to level the ground. The cost wasn't substantial, especially when you consider the 1,250,000 for the biogas plant and an additional 60,000 for the fermentation silos. In that context, it truly wasn't a significant expense. I had to slightly reconfigure the surrounding area near the fermentation silos to make it presentable. It's not ideal just yet, but I'll definitely take care of it later. This is how the biogas plant appears. I'll also eventually get around to decorating this area later. But right now, I absolutely must fill the fermenting silos with grass bales, ensuring the biogas plant has the necessary materials for production. The biogas plant I constructed is quite efficient, so I'm stuffing the silos with all the grass I can get. I'll spend the entire 128,000 I have left on grass and deliver it all to the silos. I still need to power up everything, then configure it all to function exactly as it's meant to. And by the way, I realized then that I had made an enormous error. I hadn't noticed this before, but my windmills, those colossal wind turbines, each costing 155,000, they weren't producing anything at all. It was a huge oversight. I hadn't activated them. As you can see, their propellers are now actively rotating. They weren't spinning before, and now, just you wait and see how my account balance is going to start soaring. At long last, the windmills are up and running, and to top it all off, the biogas plant is raking in colossal profits, exactly 2,832,541 euros. I really need to invest all this money, so I'm leveling the ground next to the biogas plant to construct another one right beside it, only bigger, more costly, and totaling 1.5 million. I have an abundance of money, which is why I've decided to spruce up this area a little, just to make it visually appealing and presentable. So I won't have to fix everything later on. I'll just handle it immediately as I'm working. I've placed a few trees around here, some bushes, and it immediately looks much better. This is how it appears from a bird's eye perspective. This is probably my prettiest island so far. The island that has the biogas plants is my prettiest island. Well, because it's the only one that's actually decorated. And since we're already talking about islands, I decided to construct yet another island so that I could place even more greenhouses on it. I devised a method of arranging greenhouses all along that narrow strip of land. They'll be expanding my island because the terrain always expands right along with the greenhouse. Of course, that's only if the option is set, and I did have that option enabled. I also painted the ground, planted various bushes, laid out paths, and generally did everything necessary to make it appear presentable and well maintained. And here's how it looks from above. Of course, it was high time to get everything operational, because it would be a real shame to miss out on the profits from so many greenhouses. So, having finished all that, I still had some money left over. Consequently, I invested 550,000 into this splendid generator, which generates a monthly income of 46,000 euros from harnessing wind power, specifically wind energy. Once I had completed all the construction, I simply needed to bide my time for a few months. This would allow my productions and generators to accrue the maximum possible earnings, which I could then reinvest to further expand my operations. I managed to save up over 3 million euros, 3,076,000. Several months had passed by, so I came to the conclusion that I needed to replenish the fermentation silos. I simply can't leave them empty. There absolutely needs to be grass inside, actively fermenting, to ensure a continuous supply for the biogas plant. However, those biogas plants were incredibly expensive, coming in at almost 3 million euros. And they generate quite substantial profits, so I must keep a close eye on them. After I had topped up the silos, the only thing left for me to do was to spend 3 million on investments. I constructed 3 massive wind power plants, each valued at 900,000 euros, and collectively they bring in 84,000 euros every month. So here's the island, from a bird's eye perspective, and as you can plainly see, this is what the growth of my balance looks like. 5 million, now over 5 million, 6 million. 7 million, exactly 7,400,000. This is how much money I was able to generate within just those few months. With the money I had earned, I invested in 8 new wind farms, each costing 900,000 and generating 84,000 euros, and additionally, I installed a couple of solar panels, 2 to be precise. Here's the bird's eye view. It's starting to look more and more interesting. There are more and more of these wind turbines, and more of everything else too. And an increasing amount of the profits, an even greater portion of the monthly generated profits. Look, a few months have flown by. I've accumulated over 20 million in my account, and yet again, I find myself needing to replenish the grass in the silos to ensure those enormous profits continue flowing in, just as they did before. I won't bore you with too many details here, so I'll quickly top this up. But as you can clearly see, I have over 20 million in my account, and I truly want to maintain these significant profits going forward. I had so much money that I could build 5 wind turbines, each costing 3.5 million euros and generating 350,000 euros monthly. Additionally, I built another one for 900,000, along with a massive photovoltaic solar farm for 1,300,000 euros. I even managed to level some of the terrain, but I just ran out of money to finish it completely. This is how it looks. It's getting really interesting. 100 million is getting closer. 100 million is almost here. Just look at the profits that are pouring into my account right now. Every single month, truly massive sums, millions of them, are flowing into my account. I chose to decorate the island with trees, the very island where the greenhouses are located. Just as I had promised earlier to get to it later, I've actually taken care of it just now. And now, the moment has arrived to decorate the island where I meticulously constructed the photovoltaic farm. It has to look presentable as well. I mean, it's not strictly necessary, but it's something I genuinely care about. I really don't want this to just be about making money by simply fast forwarding through time. Honestly, I could have that 100 million in my account already. I just have to wait a few more months. However, I aim to achieve this in the quickest time possible, maximizing the monthly profit. And of course, in addition to that, I genuinely want it to look presentable, because I really dislike creating unattractive maps. So, this is precisely how everything stands at this very moment. It truly is the opportune time to construct a house right here, and then carefully adorn the surrounding area. Following that, I'll be able to confidently invest all of my remaining funds into even more wind turbines. And to finally reach that highly coveted goal of $100 million, or rather 100 million euros, as that is indeed the currency we are dealing with here in this game. I know I keep mixing it up. Sometimes I say euros, sometimes dollars, but everyone knows what I mean. While it may not be a luxurious villa worth millions, it's certainly sufficient for a peaceful retreat, especially with millions wisely invested and securely sitting in your bank account. And speaking of making smart investments, I absolutely must put that 30 million I have in my account to good use. I need to strategically place a few more windmills, ensuring a continuous and even greater flow of money into my account every single month. Each windmill generates 354,000 euros, and I've constructed around 10 of them in this location. So, I've just added myself an extra 3.5 million in monthly profit. Well, more or less. I'm not sure if it was exactly 10, but you can tell me about it. If you're still watching this, can you tell me if there were exactly 10 or not? And just look at this, folks. This is exactly how you earn $100 million. This is the grand finale of the entire endeavor, the culmination of the whole challenge. $100 million crossed at this very moment. I got so carried away that I actually reached 112 million, meaning I definitely surpassed the target goal I had in mind. I pulled it off, everything unfolded just as planned. Starting from absolutely nothing, $0, no leasing, kicking off with just a fishing rod out on the islands, I successfully reeled in a grand total of 112,169,481 euros. I truly hope I've earned your subscription, a big thumbs up on this video, and a comment that lets me know you stuck around and watched until the very end.